Fine. So in the last session, these are the points we discussed about FSM, primarily FSM for configuration purpose. Within the FSM, we have to enable the offerings, we have to create implementation project. And at the time of implementation project, we can assign that project to project manager. And once you create the project, based on the offerings and options which you choose into project, system will create the task list. Task list is nothing but list of tasks which you use for a configuration purpose, and we can assign entire offering or option or task list or task to specific team member. Assignment is not mandatory. If you can assign or without assigning, you will be able to track the status of the configuration which you are doing as a part of project. Once you set the update, you will be able to track the progress of the project. And finally, just once you do this, you'll be able to do the system configuration. Okay, so this is what just we discussed. For any application related configuration, you can do from functional setup manager. Apart from that, by using the FSM, you can move the setups from one pod to another pod by using the configuration packages feature, and you can perform the rapid implementation, which allows you to load the setups through spreadsheet to instance. Within this spreadsheet, you can give the specification, how you want to do the specification, the setup rate data that can be loaded into system. Automatically system will configure primary ledgers and calendars, chart of accounts, business units, legal entities. And for everything we cannot use rapid implementation spreadsheet. So for what are the configurations we can use, we'll see as a part of instance. And the reports also, configuration, the project specific configuration related reports also you can generate, so that you can understand out of say 1,000 tasks, how many tasks are completed as a part of configuration within the system environment. These are the points we discussed. Now we'll go to FSM, functional setup manager, and we'll go through the offerings, and we'll see that enabling, how to enable, how to select into project, how to create the project, how to assign, how to set the status, how to track, how to start doing the configuration from project. We'll go through all these points now. Okay, so already we have one user called as Fusion India, right? We created one user called as Fusion India. We'll go and log in to the instance with the same user. So our username is Fusion India. Okay, how to navigate to FSM, functional setup manager. Okay, which user can navigate to FSM, functional setup manager? The user who has access to application implementation consultant role, only that user can have access to FSM. Okay, even if we have some other roles also we discussed, application implementation manager, application implementation administrator. Those roles of users also, those roles, if you assign to user, those users also can have access to FSM, but they'll have a limited access. The primary role which we have to assign to our user is application implementation consultant, right? That's what we assign to our user. Okay, this role should be assigned to user. That user can have access to FSM. So now for our user, already we assigned application implementation consultant role. Now you can connect to FSM. How to navigate to FSM? Just click on username, or next to user we have a drop down option. Click on that, and within the panel you could see one task called as setup and maintenance. So this you will get here if this user has access to application implementation consultant role. Just click on setup and maintenance. Done. So this is just a landing page. From here just we can go through, we can see what are the different offerings we have within this instance, what are the options we have inside of it, and how to enable and all. We'll go through all this. Now here we have actions. Okay, go to actions, click on the drop down option, and here we have a option called as go to offerings. Just click on go to offerings. Okay, click on go to offerings. So here we have a different offerings within this instance. These are the different offerings we have: compensation management, customer data management, customer loyalty, enterprise contracts, financials, Fusion Accounting Hub, FH, grants management, incentive compensation, and manufacturing and supply chain, material management, marketing. Okay, order management they given as a separate offering. The reason is in the initial releases, Oracle did not release this order management application. Just they released procurement only. Later they came up with the order management solution. That is the reason they released it as a separate offering instead of releasing as an option, means module. So that's how we could see many offerings which are available within this instance. Okay, so when I talk about financials, just I'm clicking on this financials. Okay, when you click on this financials, you could see what we have as a part of financials. Okay, so within the financials, which financial flows we have, it includes assets. Assets means fixed assets. Ledger, here when you see ledger, that means general ledger. And cash cycle, okay, that means cash management. And invoices, payments, payables, account receivables, and collections, advanced collections. And we could do the subledger accounting setup, subledger accounting modifications you can do if you want to do under tax configure, nothing but fusion tax. Okay, this and all we have as a part of this. Directly you don't see the names as a cash management and general ledger applications. Okay, so based on this ledger means general ledger, cash flows means it's all about you could notice as a cash management. By default, if you have a payables or receivables as a part of your project, you will have access to cash management application. Okay, and if you want to go through this financial offering detail information, here we have a relevant document. Just click on expand. Okay, so as a part of financial offering, so what are the associated features we have within the financials? If you want to see that information, you can go through any one of the document with a different output files are available. PDF file is available, or HTML format or Excel format. You can go and see that information in the same way. So what are the different setups need to be executed to implement the financials, including optional setups also, mandatory and optional, all the setups which are related to financials. By just covering all the product functionality, complete product functionality, you could see all the setups here. And business objects, related business objects, this is nothing, just we'll go through the documents also, it's nothing, just primarily these are the two related documents which you may just go through once. Okay, once we see in this session, that would be enough. Again, if you want to go through, you can see. We'll see first associated features. When you talk about financials, what are the associated features we have? Okay, we'll see that. So just we may go with a PDF format. Just click on PDF format to get to know what are the associated features we have as a part of Fusion Financials. Just open this. So these are the different features which are available as a part of financials offering as a part of Fusion. Okay. So financials, initial users, enterprise profiles, legal structures, financial reporting structures, general ledger, and there are the different features which are part of this financials. Okay, auto accounting automation, the resource. Even if you are going to work on financials, if you don't have subscription for HCM, the basic users you can create. HCM users you will be able to create. Employee users you can create. Just to create the employee users, you no need to take any subscription for that. So workforce structures, the basic definitions, users and security, supplier invoicing process, suppliers, payables. Okay, all these payments. So invoice routing for accounting coding.
What is the function area means?
Sorry?
Lakshman? What do you mean that function area means? Functional area. Okay. Functional area. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So see here, functional areas of payments. It is not, payments is not a feature, it's a functional area they are calling. Invoices are functional area. Okay, when you create the business unit, you'll come to know the exact what are the different functional areas we have within the instance. So invoicing we call as a one function, payment we call as one function. Here the representation they given as a area, functional area. So here remaining are these are features: invoice routing of accounting codes, whether whatever they're mentioned that falls under some functional area. Functional area can have multiple features. Okay, supplier is functional area. Within the supplier functional area, we'll have a different features like create supplier, views of inquiry about supplier, search suppliers, merge suppliers, right? So this all comes under features. Okay, that is just task list you can treat, or it's a group of features which you have as a part of that. So this is how just you may have a look at this document when you go through the instance. You can download it. You can just look into that. Reality, you don't need to go through it to understand. So once we see the application, that same we can continue. But just as information, you may try with this document, so you can understand what we have as a part of. So very high level. Okay, what are the features we have? You could see through this document. Another document is setup task list under tasks. So if you are going to implement financials with this full scope of financials implementation, all features, what are the different setups we have to perform, that you could see by just looking at this document, setup task list under tasks. Just download the document. It will have, it's just some sort of big document, so it may take some time. Just 1 second.
So Lakshman, these are reference documents, I believe.
Yeah, just for information, that's all. You won't use it
Okay.
directly asked is to do the implementation, just for information purpose, that's all. So you could see here. So here all the setups what you perform, and again that setup, whatever the setup you do, that is related to each product. Okay, financials is common module, and the product family is financials. So setup is required or not? Yes. Conditionally required, yes or no? And it belongs to which module, which enterprise application. That's how the complete information they'll provide. Just we'll go through a few tasks. Say payment terms. So here see manage payment terms. Okay, as a part of payables. This is one of the task. The description. It define and maintain Oracle Fusion payables payment terms in use by an organization, and this belongs to which product? Payables. Product family, nothing but offering name. Financials, is it required? Yes. Conditionally required? Yes. It's required anyway. It's required. Conditional required. We know Oracle will provide a few seeded payment terms also as immediate and all in any environment. That's just they mention as conditionally required. Yes. So by default it's required. It's mandatory. And module. Okay, this is a just module name specification. They are giving that technical term, and enterprise application the same. Just it's ADF task flow and web services. These are all useful for technical people when they do the mapping and all with a third party application. This information they use from this document instead of referring other documents, so they'll use it. So this is how that the ADF task flow can, I mean, that this is the one of the tasks. It's built with ADF pages. So web services means where they can just use for data interfaces, where they can get an inflow or outflow of their data, where if you are getting the payment term from other system to this system, so you can use this path. You can connect that system payment terms information with the respective table of Fusion applications. That's how that is for this ADF task flow and web services. It's for the purpose of technical. Business object means is a payment term. We'll have header payment term, lines payment terms. It's all about business object means it's related to payment terms. So that's how you could see all the tasks related to banks. What are the setups we do as a part of financials? All you could see as a different tasks here. Okay. So just you may go through once so that you can get some information on this. But anyway, whatever required, what need to be done as a part of financial implementation by covering the most of the features, we are going to see everything, the system, but everything you could see in the document also here as a just information. Okay, you may spend just 5 to 10 minutes time to go through this document. Okay, otherwise you can ignore it, nothing goes wrong. Done. So when I talk about related business objects and all, we no need to look into these documents. Okay, so just given for information in terms of the classification of the information as a business objects. Okay, so you can just have a look. Not required. Just the first two documents we may just go through. The rest not required. I think I just saved it. I didn't open. One second.
Hi, Lakshman. The name called here Vision, the header level above offerings. It is coming based on the business group or a customized name there.
Here,
Yeah.
this is a logo. Just we can upload our own logo.
Okay.
Yeah, just that is a logo. Just to open this. So here related business objects related to 1099 account aliases, accounting calendar, accounting events. So these are all just they're classified as a business objects, application, attachment, entity, audit policies, and lookups, flex fields. These are all just they're taken as a different business entity. We don't need to just see look into this information more detail level. Okay, so primarily this can be used for web services and endpoint URL. So this is our instance URL path where they can select for respect to functionality consumption purpose for mapping. Okay, functional point of view, no need to look into this. Business objects related document or other document is related enterprise applications. This also we no need to look into, but just for information, just will open and close it. Fine. This is a domain like it's a common domain means which supports for common setups. Okay, FA domain means fusion applications domain. Mostly we'll have a fusion application domains only. If it is third party applications, other domains, how to connect to those domains. This is a URL for HCM. If you want to directly connect to HCM, this is URL you can use. If you want to connect to some integrations, this is URL you can use. Okay, if you want to connect to SOA, this is URL you have to use. Some workspace, this is a URL you can use. Instance is same, that some extension is different. Okay, so that's how that information you can find here. It goes into technical part. So for us, everything we can connect from front end only. So that's all about offerings. That's all about offering related documents. The purpose of offering you could see here. This is how you can find. Once you take that this navigation, you will be landing on the offering page. So how we are just navigating here. Once you log into the instance, you have to click on setup and maintenance. And here you have to go to actions and say go to offerings. Okay, go to offerings. So here you could see that we'll select our financials. Okay, financials. Here you could see that the financials is offering is already enabled. So by default, this you could see as a just not enabled, and they'll be giving an option called as a setup. Once you click on that setup, it will open that within that financials. What are the different options we have? So that those you can see and you can enable as which is required and not required. That's how you could see here. So in the release 13 environment, see here, once you enable it is just showing as enabled only. If you could see in the other environment, 1 second, I'll show you. Okay, this is a release 12 environment. Okay, this is a release 12 environment. If you just click on the username, it will open the same similar panel. You click on setup and maintenance. Here you can just
Lakshman,
direct.
where is it showing the previous version release 12? Where do you go to check the version of the
I'll show you that. I'll show you that. The
previous?
version you can verify. I'll take you to that. So now we are in the release 12 environment. I'm showing in the 13. They slightly they did some change. That isn't just for information. I'm showing this. So in the 12 environment, what you could do is you can go to that. Click on the username. Click on setup and maintenance. Directly will be landing on this page. In case of 13, if you do the same, if you click on user, if you click on setup and maintenance, just you are landing on this page. If you want to go to offerings, you have to go to actions. You have to click on go to offerings. In 13, the earlier version, what it is, directly if you click on this user and if you click on setup and maintenance, directly will be landing on the page where you could see all the offerings which are available in that instance. So these are the instance the offerings which are available here till 11 12. This is how they are showing. So there's 25 offerings available within this. You can click next, next, next. This is our financials. Okay, here you could see for finance same like the description they given and content documents you could see here. And here you have a setup, action setup you have. If you click on this setup, sorry, I just taken note of that. So we just we have to see that how. 1 second, please. See the status. The status you could see as. Go through this. Click on setup and maintenance. There are the list of offerings which are available in this instance. You select it here. So in the fresh instance, see here you could see as enabled. In the same way you can see in the release 13 also it's enabled. Okay, and here in release 12 up to 12 you can go to actions. You can just select change configuration. So here you can just find all the offering related options. This is the financials, supplier invoicing process, expense, fixed assets. So supplier invoice processing means payables. As a, first we have to enable financials offering. Within that, if you are going to implement payables for your sub client, you have to enable the supplier invoice processing payables. Expense nothing but fusion expense, which are equal to I expense in EBS. Fusion fixed assets and customer invoice processing means receivables application. If you want to implement, enable it. And collections nothing but advanced collections. Revenue management cloud services separate module. And this intercompany budgetary control, these just you can enable. And again business intelligence BA reporting purpose, you can just enable all these options for all the applications. Okay, BA analysis if you want to perform for all, just you can specify this. So this is how we have to enable the any offering and within the offering specific options. Okay, so in up to 11 this is how you could see here in
Lakshman, what is that implemented in progress? Is it
just
like services started or something?
no, that doesn't have any functionality, just for information purpose. Okay, the status you can set the status. So now even after implementing also I can set not started, in progress. Just it's all about tracking the status. Okay, reality not required here, not required, just they give an option. Okay, fine. Here primarily we use just enabling purpose only. If you want to set the status, you can set, but it doesn't have any control and nothing. You can just leave as is, you can do anything, or you can set any status, you will be able to do it just for information. When I talk about some offerings or project within the Fusion, just for information, not for control purpose. Again, within the financials, there are some other features which you want to use or not. Maybe it's related to some country specific, some localization related features and other features, and some payroll, and which differ country to country based on that. See here some regional localizations which you should enable, then only those will be available. Okay, that's how they're given for specific countries. You should enable for other countries, directly those would be available. So under budgetary control you want to use, or encumbrance you want to use, if you enable, then only as from financials, when you create the, by selecting the financials, when you create the project, then system will be creating the budget control related and encumbrance related tasks, which allows us to do the relevant configuration. So these are some additional features depending on for which country you are just implementing. You may specify as a part of offering. Rest all will be with inside of the offering. You don't need to select those. Just you have to select the modules only. So this is how just we have to do it till 12 and 13. This is how just they're given. Like so you say you are selecting the financials. You could see in this instance already this is enabled. Okay. So here they're given opt in the features. Okay, similar page. So in case of Fusion, if you want to, I mean, just I'm showing the difference so that if you are, even if you are now most of the clients which are currently doing the implementation is on release 12 only, not on 13. The very fresh implementations you could see they are started on 13. So that is the reason I'm showing in both. In case of 12, this is how just you have to navigate, right? The previous page. I'll go back, go to offerings. I'll be going back. Once you land on this page, what you have to do, go to actions and click on change configuration. It will take you to the page where you can enable the offerings and options. The same if you are going to do in the release 13, what you have to do, you have to first select offering, then go to click on opt-in features. This is just simple difference to understand. Now here you have to enable. Okay, now just you have to enable all this. So just you can enable financials, then you can enable GL, then you can enable invoice, suppliers, payables, etc., etc. All these you can enable. So once see here, you can notice. So once you enable financials, you see the comparative difference also. Here you have a financials. Under financials, you don't have any general ledger, right? In up to release 12, you don't have general ledger. So this became confusion for the consultants or anyone who are working on instance. Oh, we have financials, we don't see any option called as GL. So that is the reason from 13 what Oracle it is, they given the name also. But if you enable financials, automatically general ledger will get enabled. You cannot disable it until unless you enable this. Okay, if you enable financials, automatically it will come. So the people has a confusion. We are enabling supplier invoicing processing. Where is the payables? This is a confusion just in terms of presentation in the environment till 12. In 13, what they did? If you enable supplier invoice processing, the meaning is you are enabling payables. That's what they given. So wherever just there is some confusion till release 12, so that they just fix it in 13 just by giving the relevant meaningful presentation. Here customer invoice processing means you are implementing the receivables. In 12 environment this is. In 13 if you see, when you enable it, automatic system will enable receivables. The customer invoice processing address receivables. That's how they give it. So what are the offerings and options you are going to implement for the client? Those you have to enable like this. Okay, like this just you have to enable it. The same way if you are going to implement the other modules also, other offerings also, the same process. You will just go to say you are going to implement procurement also along with the financials. Click on procurement. and click on opt-in features. Just you can enable which you are going to implement. So if you say procurement, if you say like here purchasing, the purchasing includes the receiving part also. If you enable invoicing process, see if some client is going to use P2P cycle, okay, so in that case along with the procurement, just procurement, only procurement means procurement, you don't need to enable supplier invoicing. Somebody unmuted, just please, if you don't have any questions you can mute from your end. If you when you have questions you can unmute and you can raise your question. I think Nagaraj is unmuted. Fine, I just kept unmute. So this is how, just if you are along with the procurement, if you are going to implement payables also directly from within this procurement offering only, you can enable supplier payable invoices, which enables you to configure and use payables application. So this is how just you have to enable the offerings.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
Lakshman, quick question here. And after some, so once we enable, and after some time we can disable those options.
See, when you enable, what is the purpose we are enabling? The purpose we are enabling to select that into project creation. Okay. Enable offering will create the project by selecting the offerings and options which are enabled. Say you enabled offering and specific or all options within the project, then system will allow you to create the project. You can select based on that, system will create the task list. Later you can go and disable the offerings and options. When you disable the offerings and options, when you create the next project, if you want to create one more project, you cannot select since those are disabled. There won't be an impact on the project which you created when it was enabled. Anytime you can disable. Here I'll show you that. Select finance.
So Lakshman, do you have any program that to enable and disable all of them
No
at a
problem,
stretch?
no problem, manual process. Okay, it's very simple. So you can just disable it. Go and disable it. That's it. Okay, enabling again. So if you disable, it's simple. If you disable, you cannot. So you cannot select it for new project creation. Okay.
Still, even though you disabled, but against payables, the tick mark is enabled.
So tick mark is enabled, but there is no meaning because reality is it's all about the programming and all, right? If you are able to see, I could say they didn't write programming properly. If you disable it, it disappear first of all. Okay, there is no meaning. If you enable, then payables you will get it. If you disable, it should not be here. At least it should be disabled. So they may just correct it in next release. I'm not sure on that. That is the meaning.
So actually,
Fine, done.
yeah, this is Venu Lakman. So you enable here that this lets only configuration, or this also makes the application available for users to log in.
Fine. Yes, yes. The first point is, if I enable here, it enables the configuration. Okay, it enables the configuration. Once it enables the configuration, once you do the configuration, then only it will allow you to do the process, or else I'll just give you the role called as payables manager for you. I'll give you the role called as payables manager for specific user without enabling this. Without enabling this, I'll give you the payables user. For payables user, as a payables manager, you want to access to so and so business unit. If you want to have access to so and so business unit to record the payables transaction, payables configuration need to be completed, right? Otherwise, what access we can get? We cannot create invoice, we cannot process the payment. So this is only for configuration purpose. When you have a configuration for specific module, then only you can work on the process. But you can assign the process related roles to the user, but from that user through that role, he cannot perform any transaction since setups are missing. This is only for setups. Okay, once the setups are done, relevant roles you can assign and you can access. That's it.
Yeah. So this basically controlling the setup process. You
Only,
want to disable
yes,
step in the process when the product being used in the business. We can come back and disable here.
yeah, exactly. The first step
Right.
is to select into project. Once you select into project, then the relevant module related list of setup system will generate. Then you can do the setups. So this is required into project creation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks.
Is there a cross check
Lakshman,
for what you subscribe?
Sorry.
Is there a cross check for what products you have subscribed? Because you may not have subscribed to everything.
Yes. Yeah. So here, if you could see, you can see in this way. I'll take you through that. So here offerings you have. Here you have option provision and all. Since these are the vision instances, test environments, they didn't provide another value. Okay. So I'm selecting all. How many instances? How many offerings we have? All I'm selecting total. We have 25. Now I'm selecting provision only 24. Okay, 25 we have within this, but the access is provisioned in this instance is 24 only. If this environment is the one which you are using as a client instance, you will get one more value here as a subscribed. Once you select that value as a subscribed, it will filter these options. Say you subscribed HCM, SCM, procurement and financial, it will filter and it will display those four only.
Okay, thank you.
Rest also will be available, but we have to understand we cannot play with them.
Yes.
Okay. You can do the setups, but if you start using, if you have any issue, Oracle is not going to help us since no subscription. As a part of instance, they'll give the access. They'll give you the access. So that's how it works. Okay. This is how just they given. Here we are in the release 13 environment. If you could see here, here they are not giving that such kind of filter option. So offerings here filter all provision
so Lakshman, quick question here.
please.
From this dashboard, anywhere we can know that which are we subscribed or licensed from the Oracle.
Yes,
How
that's
do you
what
know that?
I'm telling. That's what here. Okay, so offerings here it is a client instance will get one more value. Here two values I have provisioned and all will get one more value called as subscribed. If you select, it will display only subscribed offerings. Now it all means it is showing 25, provision means 24 offerings showing. Say you subscribe for financials, then if you filter with the subscribed value, it will show only finance. That's how you can identify. It is in 12. In 13 that option also they are not giving. It's all about just go to offerings. It's like going offerings only. No, just a filtration option they are giving here. Okay. So, but definitely we'll be knowing, right? Definitely we'll be knowing. It's not like we'll be going through unknown client instances. No, we'll go through our client instance only. We'll have information. So that's how it will work. Simple point. When we are working on EBS, how you can come to know for which module they take in the license. Once DB install the product in our server, they can just complete pack, they can install all the applications. How will come to know, okay, which applications client take in the license? Do you have any clue?
It's been all the time offline, right? So it's not system will not tell us. Probably
Yes,
the
because
same thing will happen here.
even we have a profile options to set it licensed yes and all. Even if you are not licensed, you can set it as. That's how you cannot track it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, but you'll be knowing, right? So as a consultant, when you are working for a client, you are working in financial. Definitely, client will take us if they have license for that. In the same way, just as information as a project scope for which modules they take and relevant document, or if you connect to the right person who can help you on what are the modules they take in the license in case of EBS, you can get to know. In the same way here, you will get to know like just for which modules the client has a subscription by speaking with the client point of contact. or some project manager or someone else. That's how you come to know. But in till 12, you can see in the environment here itself. You could select subscribe, that will be listed. From 13 onwards, that option just removed, because that kind of great information is not required, since it's going to be client specific instance. That could be the reason they just removed it. So that's how you can find it. Okay, I'm just
Lakshman,
not required for us. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, I saw that enable disable setup. Is it really needed, or I don't see any purpose. Can we disable it? I mean, after the AR is enabled in a system, after 1 year, can someone really disable it?
Yeah, you can disable it. If you disable, what happens is you cannot create the new project. Reality, you no need to create the project. See, it's a simple like, so what subscriptions we are taking, Oracle can enable and give it to us. They no need to give us enabling, disabling all these options, but just they given maybe for the purpose of where we'll just come across all that, how that can be managed by our own. And again, this is a test environment. Even prod also you can find in the same way. You don't find any different user interface, different process. That is the reason, that is the reason something like they simplified in the 13, like you no need to filter, no option to get to know which environment, what are the subscribed offerings and options that they removed here. Till 12 that is available.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
thanks. 1 second, I stopped screen sharing. Let me open that instance. I'll show you how to verify the, what I could say, like version, how to check the version. Now, if you want to check any instance version, okay, 1 second. If you want to check instance version, what you have to do is, after logging to the instance, click on username or next to that drop down option. Here you have a, the function called as about this page. Click on about this page. Okay, from here also you can grab that information as release 12, that you can click on copyrights information. There you could see 11.12, but reality this version is 11.1.12. This is the 12 we refer. There's some instances that digit they are missing. Okay, so this is real version is 11.1.12, we call as release 12. Now we have 13 version. If you go to 13 version, if you want to check it, our 13 version, go to click on user, click on about this application, click on copyright information. They're not giving here, no issues. Here you could see that. So release 13, here you can notice that release 13. Okay,
Even the revision 13, 11, 13, 18, the heading itself, is that what
yes,
to
yes.
look at?
No, is a
Second line.
revision because that you cannot take. This is the actual release 13, because again within that some technical terms they are mentioning. It's 11.13. Here there should be one. Yeah, at this point this you can take. Okay, basically it should be 11.1.13. That's how actual representation they'll give. Okay, so that's what. So this
So,
is 13 one.
so Lakshman, what is 11? What is 13, Lakshman?
Sorry,
So when you say 11.13, what is 11? What is 13?
we discussed, right? I think you attend the session. Okay, when you look at the talk about the versions, what is the meaning of versions? Not like the 11 is series. Okay, 11 is series, application series. Like EBS release to 11i, that is a series. For Fusion series is 11. So version means it will be like, you can find like this 11.1.1. This is how the version you can find it. Okay, here next version is after 8 9. Next version is 10. Here the series, here release will be changed. The series is same. This is 11. This is a 12. Okay.
I think they're doing on the second digit. Is that 11, 13, 11, 12?
This is actual. This is the actual one. Okay, this is the actual one, but in instance level, the one is missing. That's what I'm trying to say. So 11.1.13.1.1. This is how it looks like. This is the release. The third place goes to release. This is what always we say. I'm working on release 11 means this 11, not the first one. Release 12 means Fusion release 12. This is the 12. Release 13 means this is the release. Okay. Oracle Fusion applications version is 11. Okay. Oracle Fusion application version is 11. I'll just show you the proof of information to you. Go to offerings. We just opened some documents, right? G. We have a database 11G, right? That is our database version. Application version also 11G. I think in these documents they didn't give. We have some other documents where you can notice. 11G Oracle Fusion applications actual version is 11G. Releases are different. Within 11, we have a 7 version. Oracle just started. From 8 onwards, few clients started using Fusion. From release 8 onwards, few clients started using. From 10, Oracle got many clients. Now 12, 13 are doing good. Okay, so that is a point we have to understand. Like EBS 11 and R12 Fusion version, Fusion applications, Oracle Fusion applications. The default version is 11G. We have a 11G version for database also, right? 11G grid. Okay. So here Oracle Fusion applications means 11G. With that 11G, this is 11 series. Within this, these are the versions. Okay, this is the point we have to understand. Fine. So this is how just you can enable the offerings before you go to create the project. Any questions from anyone, please?
Hi Lakshman. Hi Lakshman.
Please.
So this enabling offerings is a one-time activity for a project.
One time.
And if it is
Instance for one instance, yeah. One time.
So after once we enable the offerings, so will it be automatically get defaulted? I mean, it will automatically get disabled, or shall we go into that?
You don't need to do anything. Just if you will just enable and you'll be creating the project. Okay, you'll enable the offerings and options so that those enabled offerings and options only will be available at the time of project creation. You'll choose and you'll create the project. Once you create the project based on the offerings and options, it will create the task list. You'll proceed with the setups. Once you do the setups, we'll just load that. We do the data conversion and all. Client will start using, okay, application as a part of maintenance. Will use the same project to navigate and to change some setups or to create some additional configurations and all. That's how it goes. After creating the project, if you go and disable, no impact. If you disable it, you cannot create one more transaction. The simple example I'll tell you, say you enable currency called as USD in EBS. EBS instance, you enable USD currency and you are creating the primary ledger. Can you find that USD currency at the time of primary ledger creation? Yes. You can select and you can create the primary ledger. Okay, you can proceed. And you go and disable it. You go and disable it and try to create one more primary ledger. Will it be available to create? No.
Should not be.
Okay. So even if you disable it in the Fusion, like you enabled offerings and options, you created project and you started working on it. Now you can go and disable it, no issues. It won't be available to create one more project. That's all. Okay. Once you create the project by selecting the offerings and options, it will create the task list. The task list again, it is not going to get connected with the offerings and options which are enabled or disabled. It will become individual definition. That's all. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Thank you. So this is our just this is a simple task from where we can enable the offerings and options, and how we can go through the relevant documents and all. Now just I'll take you through the simple process of how to create the implementation project. Okay, we'll see how to create the implementation project. If you want to, from here we can navigate, but directly again I am just taking you through from beginning. So once you log into the instance, click on setup and maintenance. We'll be landing on this page, same page. Okay, will be landing on this page. Here in this environment, this is compensation management is just getting defaulted. So click on user, click on setup and maintenance, will be landing on this page. Then here you have a some notepad kind of icon. This we call as a task list. Within this we can have multiple tasks, or you can call it as a task panel or task pan, task list or a task panel or a task pan. Click on this task list. It will open the different tasks which are available inside of that task list. So now what we have to do is, if you want to create the new project in this instance, click on manage implementation projects task. One of the task name is manage implementation projects. Just click on manage implementation projects task. It will take us to the page where we have all the projects. See here, many projects we have in this instance. So these are all our project names. PS implementation, H1 project, so MKG implementation. Just people are practicing on this instance. So that is the reason you can find that variety of project names. Okay, money project, this and that, everything just they named. Okay, many projects. But we never find these many projects in our client instance. When you are implementing, you may create one project. If you are implementing one for one country, normally for one country we will create one project. If you are going to implement a solution for 4 countries, okay, to simplify, to manage in simplified manner the country specific setups, each country you may create separate project. But overall implementation you can treat as one project for 4 countries also. But just to facilitate simplified just setup maintenance within the system environment, country wise you can create separate project. If you are implementing for US clients, only for US country, that case you may create just only one project. Here you don't see big list, only one project you can have inside of this instance. Done. So these are the existing projects which you can notice. But anyway, we are going to create our own project. So to create our own project, okay, how we navigated here? Once you log into the instance, click on setup and maintenance. It will take us to FSM page. We'll be landing in FSM page. This is FSM page, you can say. Click on task list. Within the task list, the first task is manage implementation projects. Click on manage implementation projects. Will be landing in the page where you could see the projects which are already available. In the first instance, this page will be blank. Click on create. Blank in the sense here you don't see any project names, right? So click on create to create the new project. Click on create. So by default, system is taking the project name, project code, project description, the status it is taking as not yet started, and it is getting assigned this project to the same user. From which user we are creating the project will get assigned to the same user. Ideally, project manager may create reality, but when we talk about Oracle, this Fusion application, we are doing the implementation. Okay, what we have to understand is who create the projects. So any consultant can create the project. Just to create the project in the system environment, we don't need to get project manager. Okay, because just it's all about we are creating to do the setups. And say project manager, if the guy is expertised on Oracle Fusion, they may create. Otherwise, any consultant can create because the process is very simple. So start date, today's date is taking, and the finish date you can give some tentative date as a finish date for this project. Here we can just give the name for this project.
Lakshman, how the application is understanding the implementation project 4? By default, it has come, right?
That's how they programmed. They written the code. Once somebody click on create project, it should come as implementation project and it should run the numbering. I think see here 4 it is showing means already 3 are created. 1, 2. Anyway, we'll be changing the name. That's how they kept default test to get default. Okay, that is a logic. It's a simple like they're programmed in that way. Fine. So here we can go with some name. So here what name we can take? I think ERP tree already we have in this. I'll say so go fusion implementation or else I'll say cloud inc. I'll take the name as cloud inc implementation project. Treat cloud inc is a company name. Okay, so we are doing the implementation for that client and we are just using that name, and throughout all the setups we'll use cloud inc as a prefix for any setup. Okay, so cloud inc implementation project, just tab out, it will default the same test here, cloud inc implementation project. So system is assigning this project to fusion india because we are creating that project from the same user. If you want to change the user assignment, you can change it. Click on drop down, click on search. Project you can assign to only one resource. So you want to assign it to some other user called as say Google. You can assign. Okay, this is how just you can change the assignment. You can assign that project to any resource. Okay. Now anyway, just will proceed with our user only. So Fusion India, search, select. Just click on here. We have selection space. Click on that and say okay. And starting date is today. What is the finish date? The tentative date you may provide. So July 31st. By July 31st, we'll finish the project. Okay, any date you can later, any point of time you can change it, but don't think these will have a controls like our EBS project accounting. Like in EBS project accounting, you can set start date, end date, and we have a project related controls where you can state after finish date, no one should be able to book the expense. No one should be able to do so and so activity on the project. That's how you can set a controls. That is totally different from this. This is just for information we are mentioning. Based on this, okay, just system will be updating the status. It's overdue already. It's in past itself. This project has to be completed. These many days overdue. The project is running. That's how it will give the information. It won't stop you from doing something against this project. Okay, just to get the information. That's all. Okay, this is how just we have to provide these details, then click on next. Don't say save and open project. That means without selecting any offering you are going to create the project. Yes, in that way also you can do it. In that case, after creating the project you can select it. That is also possible. I'll take you through that also. Okay, as a part of process. So just given these details, then click on next. Once you click on next, what system will do is within this instance, how many offerings or options are already enabled, all it will display to select into this project. Click on next. So within this instance, these all offerings are enabled already. Inside offering we have options, right? These all are enabled in this. Of course, based on the scope, what we are going to implement, we enable first. The same would be available here. These all are available to select into project. Say we are going to implement only financials. Here we have financials. So against financials, you can click on include. That means these financials we are going to include into our project. We are going to implement it. Just click on enable. Within this offering, we have options right now. System will open. Okay, financials you want to include. Within the financials, which modules you want to include for implementation. Not modules, nothing but options we call as for FSM. That's what we discussed. So supplier invoice processing is one of the option. It's nothing but payables. Enable it. Okay. And expense nothing but fusion expense. Enable it. See, at the time of enabling the offerings, they given whenever you enable it, it displays payables. That is the meaning of payables. Again, they are ignoring that representation. Okay. So there we can understand the meaning. If you are selecting supplier invoice process, nothing but payables only. So if you want to implement fixed assets, enable it, include it. Customer invoicing processing means receivables, include it. And along with that, if you want to implement advanced collections, enable it, include it. So of course we are not going to do implement advanced collection, just as a part of this including process. Will let's do it. Revenue management cloud services, separate module, you can include it. Say intercompany, include it. So everything just you can include which are under financials depending on the scope of your implementation. This is for analysis purpose, analytics. Okay, OTBI and BA related, just include it. Along with this, if you want to include procurement also, you can include it. So just I'll take you through procurement. We don't need to include, just we'll go through that. So here we have a procurement. I just expand it. You could see within the procurement what are the modules we have. Expand purchasing within the procurement. So within the procurement, these are the if you enable procurement, only purchasing module you will get it. So again, if you need self-service procurement, you have to enable it within that. Along with the procurement P2P cycle, if you are implementing, you have to enable it. Otherwise, supplier portal in EBS I supplier, we have the same. We have a supplier portal and sourcing module, supplier qualification module, procurement contracts. So these and all you may include if you are going to implement for your client. So that's how just you can implement include as a part of project for implementation. So as of now, we included only financials. Within the financials, all the available options. Once you're done with this, you can click on save and open project. Now what system will do is it will create the task list for entire financial related included options. For payable setup list, it will display for receivables for all the applications. Within the financials, what are the options we included, all the options to implement what setups need to be executed, that all system will list out. After creating the project also, you can include any offering or option. We'll go through that point also. It may take a couple of minutes time because it has to generate all the tasks, all the setups it has to generate. Meantime, any questions please? It's created. System created project name is Cloud Inc implementation project. The basic information, this is the project name, this is the project code. The project status is not started. The project is assigned to Fusion India. This is the start date, this is the tentative finish date. And within this project we have financials only. If you want to include procurement, yes, you can do that. How to include other offerings into existing project? Here we have select and add. Click on this. Here search for procurement. Select. So apply. This is how just you can add the other offering into project. Done. In the background you can see along with the financials, procurement also added. It's very easy. If you want to remove it, select procurement, remove from the project, so that from this project you cannot do any procurement related setups. You can do only finance related setups. When you are working on financials, if any dependency setups from purchasing side, those you can find within the financials only. Okay, when we are going to work on financials, if you find any dependency setups which need to be done from procurement, for that you don't need to add procurement. Those setups will be available as a part of financials itself. Fine. So that's how you can find it. Now we'll go through this. If you want to change the status, say we created a project and we started working on this project, in that case still we should not, you may not keep the status as not started. Even by keeping not status, you can start working also. System won't stop you. It's all about for information and tracking purpose only. Okay, no control. So if project status is not started, the people are not allowed to perform any setups. These sort of rules you cannot set up. Okay, so status is not started. Okay, if you want to update any header level information, this section information, what you could do is you can click on edit. Here you can change the status to in progress. Say we started working on the project, you can set the status to in progress. Set and say save and close. Done. So now you could see, just click on done and you may reopen, you could see as a in progress. So now here you can find, since we created project just now, it is showing on the top of this entire project list. Okay, so we created project. I am just coming out from that page. Now I want to go to project. You have to log into the instance and you have to same process. Click on setup and maintenance. You can go to task list. You can click on manage implementation projects. Then you can see your project. So see, we just created project. I think somebody is practicing same time. Mac MA Cloud somebody created just now. So their project is showing on the top. In the same way, others will be creating the project, or project may go somewhere in the list and all. In that case, you can search from here also. Okay, Cloud INC, easily you can find your project. Since this are test environments and all, many projects you can see. In case of production, you don't see these many, one or two depending on how many countries you are doing. So another point here is, so instead of depending on this implementation projects list of the project to select your project, you can click on, once you land in this page, from this list you can select the project directly. You can scroll and find, or else search and find. Instead of doing that, here we have a tab called as overview. If you click on this overview tab, what it will do is it will show your project. Your project means the project which is assigned to current user. It will display only the projects which are assigned to this user. Click on overview. It will show that project, okay, which is assigned to this user. So this is all about the progress and all that. We'll see later. We have to change the status and all. At the time you can understand. So our project status is in progress. The entire project status is just this. The project status is this. Within that, the offerings and options, what we have for that, we didn't set any status. We'll set, then these things will get updated. We'll see that. So this is how just you can navigate to your project. After creating the project directly, if you want to just navigate to your project, the process is click on user, go to setup and maintenance, then go to task list, which you could see right side here. Click on task list, click on manage implementation projects, then click on overview. From here, from list also you can find, instead of that you can click on overview. From here you can find it. That's all. So here the default selection is assigned to Fusion India only. Otherwise, if you want to see assigned to anyone or specific other user, those projects will be able to see from here. Done. So this is how just we can navigate to our project from anywhere. Fine. Now, so what we discussed, once you create the project, system will create the task list, right? It will create the task list to which facilitate the system configuration. So those task lists you can see in this financials. Just expand this financial folder. Here you don't see the module names. The task list only you can see. Just drag it till right so that you can see the full name. So within the financials, this is how system created task list. This is all we call as a task list. One task list may belongs to specific module. Again, within one module specific task list, we can have a sub task list. This is how we can have. So in EBS, we have a kind of a menu and functions. So if you go to navigate, it will click on some some function. It will open some sub functions. That's how we'll be navigating. Okay, in the same way here you can just, in the similar fashion, they given these here we are calling as a task list. Okay, so define common application configuration for financials. So this talks about common configuration. If you want to implement financials, what setups required. Primarily we required ledger and all that information. Here you could see invoice and payment configuration. Through this you can do the payables configuration. Define expense configuration. You can implement fusion expense, asset implementation, receivables implementation, revenue management, cash management and banking, and collections, advanced collections. Okay, for budgeting, reporting and all, they given as a separate task list. So now you know very well what setups you have to do, but you are not sure what is the navigation you have to take. It's very simple. Say you want to create accounting calendar. Okay, when you start with implementation, so first task you want to create implementation accounting calendar. In that case, you don't need to search from all these. You don't need to follow the navigations. Okay, simply you can search from here. So you want to create accounting calendar. So search for accounting calendar. No percentages and all required. You don't need to enter before, after, not required. Directly some short name you can enter, or enter full name you can enter, however you want to type. You just type it for search purpose. Just click on search. So within this project, if any task is there which is matching with that given test, okay, or a string, it will fetch. So there is one task called as manage accounting calendars. For the task, what is the path? Financials. Define common application configuration for financials. Define enterprise structure for financials. Define financial reporting structure. Define calendars. You have to follow this entire path, then you will be reaching the task called as manage accounting calendars. The same will just take in the other tab of the same browser. We can see that same. Go to project, will follow that path and you can reach that task. The same instance you can open in the multiple tabs, different tasks. Just open the project. So here we could see we search for accounting calendar. For accounting calendar navigation path it is showing. If you want to go to this manage accounting calendar through path specification, first you have to go to financials. Within the financials, you have to go to task list called as define common application configuration for financials. We are in the financial, expand financials. Define common application configuration for financials. Yes, expand this. After that, where we have to go? Within that, define enterprise structures for financials. Define enterprise structures for financials. Here we have to go. And after that, we have to go to define financial reporting structures. Okay, define financial reporting structures. Expand it. From there, where we have to go? Define calendars. I have to go to define calendars. Expand this. Within this, you can find the task. We never follow this kind of practice to just to create accounting calendar, any setup. Okay, always just will search and will directly navigate. This is a path. This is how you can address any function. So in case of EBS also, when you are working, we have a just shortcut, right? Just you will use Control L and you will type for just calendar. It will automatically connect to the short key for the specific function. The same way here you can search, you can find, you can directly click on manage accounting calendars. It is showing manage accounting calendars. This is under task list called as define calendars. The rest of path you want to see, here you have a show hierarchy icon. Just for information you may click on show hierarchy, not required, just to understand we have to see, otherwise directly you can create accounting calendar. So how we normally, if you want to manually, if you want to navigate, what is the path you have to follow, that you can see here the system is showing. First, from financials, we have to go to define common application configuration for financials. Within the task list, we have another task list called as define enterprise structure for financials. Within that, we have some sub task list called as define financial reporting structures. Within that, we have define calendars. Within define calendars, we have a task called as manage accounting calendar. Here, task is equal to their EBS function. If you click on function, it will open the form in EBS. Here, if you click on task, it will open the page where you can do certain definition or anything. Okay, now if you click on this, here we have a go to task icon. If you click on go to task icon, it will take us to accounting calendar creation page. So here you could see few existing accounting calendars. If you want to create the new accounting calendar, click on create. Here accounting calendar periods creation is automatic. You have to specify these details, then system will create the accounting calendar. Anyway, when we just reach that stage, we'll be creating accounting calendar just to introduce how the tasks we could see in the project we are talking about. So this is how you can search for any task. You want to create the payment terms, payables, or else you want to create the primary ledger, say primary ledger. You just notice every task starts with a manage, but you don't need to search by including manage. Okay, primary ledgers, search for primary ledgers. So manage directly, you can just, you don't need to look for path. If you want to go with through path, this is all you have to navigate, not required. Search what you want to do and it will allow you to navigate to that page. You can create from there, that's all. For everything we have help, we have to enable the help that will get enabled, and we'll see that, we'll discuss about it. So here you can click on go to task icon, it will take us to that page. So there is some issue, just will refresh and do it. So primary ledgers, click on manage primary ledgers, click on go to task icon. It will open the primary ledger creation page. So this is a page where you can create the primary ledgers. You could see many primary ledgers are created. If you want to create the new primary ledger, click on create. We'll do all these in the sequence. Okay, now just to have some understanding, I'm taking through these pages, that's all. So this is any setup you can do from this project. Okay, so this is we have, you can close it. Okay, so this is how just we can create the project. In the tomorrow session, we'll see how to assign the entire offering or specific option, specific task list or particular task to some so and so team member, and how to update the status against the offering options, tasks or task list. We'll discuss detail level, then we'll just move on to next step, what we have to understand when you start working on the fresh instance. So we're done with the session. If somebody has questions, you can stay back or else you can drop from the meeting. And that's all for today. I'll be available for 10 more minutes in the meeting. If you have any questions or any issues related to instance or any Google Drive access, etc., we'll be discussing. Okay, just give, yeah.
Please share the working sheet.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll just, along with today's session, I'll be placing that sheet in the Google Drive. I'll remove the current one which is there in the drive. I'll be placing this updated one. Okay.
Lakshman, regarding the student guides, apart from the student guide, activity guide also, or could you please put it in the Google Drive?
I'll do that.
Hi, Lakshman.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, actually, what we already done in EBS, like calendar creation, then we go for next activity. It's like hierarchy. we want to go without completing previous one. So like that here, we will follow like that.
Same sequence, there is a dependency. Can you create the primary ledger without calendar, currency, chart of accounts? No, right? Same
No,
sequence.
no, no.
Same sequence.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, same sequence. What you could see in the EBS, I think you attended EBS classes, right? So yes. So same sequence. So whatever we did in EBS, the EBS solution they taken as is, since the product is same, solution same, you could see in the same way. But the way how you create, from where you create, there are a few other points which we have to understand here to sync with this environment. They did some changes also. We'll talk on that. But sequence wise, same. You may come across some other additional tasks which will be doing in between, and maybe after completing few tasks there may be some additional tasks. That's how you may find some slight difference. Otherwise everything remains same, and some enhancements are there, some new features are there, some naming convention they changed. We'll come across all this.
Lakshman, can we do any personalizations on this?
Yeah, we can do personalization. In SaaS also you can do personalizations. Those very basic personalizations. If you want to do some complex personalizations, not allowed in the SaaS model. That is only possible in the past. So you want to write some simple custom PLL. Okay, some procedure you want to write, that you cannot do in case of here. Here simple personalizations, removing some tab or disabling, okay, etc., those you can do, which comes under basic personalizations. Fine, any questions from others, please?
Hey Lakshman, this is my first class. So my question is like, why are we creating a project? Because normally I thought like, project will be created like under like, separately. So here actually we are creating a project and assigning like all financials and supply chain management for e-procurement, everything to that project.
Yes. What are the modules we have as a scope of implementation? All will be selecting into project, so that you can manage the entire system related configuration. Only the point is to manage the system related configuration. We have to create the project. Okay, so that how many resource you can assign that particular module or particular set of module to so and so consultant. By looking at project you will come to know who are the resource are working. Okay, and you can address the program, I mean the resource can update the status, how much percentage of work they completed. So the project is moving within the deadlines and beyond the deadlines. That information you can see. You can generate the reports which says the system based execution, project execution report. It will generate, it says these many setups are completed, these many setups are not completed. If you have a project in the system environment, by using the configuration packages you can move the setups from one instance to another instance. Here in Fusion instance we call as a pod. Instead of calling instance we are calling as a pod, like we have iPod and all, right? The similar way this we call as a pod. If you have a project, it will facilitate you to move the setups from one instance to another instance, and just you can do all the things as a part of project, which you can organize, and you can track the status of entire project resource. The tasks are completing within the time. Everything you can set up, and you can have a visibility on the entire system related work, not entire overall project. It's just only system based execution, means what I can say configuration. Once you're done with the implementation also, as an ongoing support activity, if you want to create additional setups, if you want to do some changes to existing, everything will be doing from the project only. In EBS we'll have a responsibilities. Through responsibility you can go and do the setups. Here we don't have any responsibility concept. Instead of responsibility, through project object we'll do everything. Okay.
So that means any changes will be done through the projects and migrated or to the other environments, correct?
No, I didn't get you what you are trying to. Any
changes
can you give me a simple
can
example?
be done with the project.
No. Can you give me a simple example what you are thinking?
Okay, let me say there is a requirement like to make some changes to one of the transactions.
Okay.
So I create a project and make the changes through some setups or something like that.
No. you don't create project. So if you are implementing for one client, you'll have a one project only ideally. Okay, so setups will do a one time, right? So you want to create one payment terms, new payment terms for payables client is using. You will have a navigation through project. Okay, within the project you'll have all the setup related list. You can go and create it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it works.
Lakshman, I joined late,
Okay.
1 hour late. I want to see this recording tomorrow
No,
tomorrow morning.
I'll upload within 1 hour. Within
Wonderful.
30 minutes I'll do that.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Lakshman, you haven't shared the Google Drive link to anyone, right? So far?
I shared with all the guys who subscribed.
I subscribed, but I didn't got a Google Drive link. I just got a YouTube kind of a link.
I'm just sorry to say this, not about you. There are cases where we shared, but people they don't notice as they received the mail, and they used to say not received and all. My request is please check from your end any email from you, to you from erpitri@gmail.com. So in the list of mails, if you don't see Google Drive Google Drive access, then you please let us know. We'll do it. Who paid? We completely shared with everyone. We didn't we have a list of participants who subscribed, so we shared. If you see like you say you not yet received, again we don't have.
Yeah, if I'm not paid, I will not be in the class today, right?
No. You'll be in the class. We are allowing still few guys who are not.
Oh, you're still allowing me to.
Yes.
Okay, but for me, I didn't check. I checked it. I didn't got it.
Please
But
check.
anyway, I'll,
Please check it once again on request, because we shared with everyone.
We all got. Maybe in the junk mails, check it out here.
Yeah, maybe sometimes, but normally it should not get into that junk list. But yeah, just check it once. Check it once. Otherwise, I don't have. We can share once again if required. Yeah. Please take as request. Okay, check it. We shared. Otherwise, no, we should not have this discussion now. So we shared. Just check it. If you not yet received, once again we'll share it. Fine. So any questions from anyone, please? Fine. Seems to no questions. We'll connect tomorrow same time, and I'll be placing this today's session video and the updated Excel sheet in the Google Drive within 30 minutes. And if you have any issue with accessing the instance, or if you see as you not yet received the Google Drive access after subscribing this course also, and request, please send an email so that I'll just revert back to you. I'll be giving the access immediately. That's how we can fix that issue.
Lakshman, you said you'll be sending current batch of this fusion classes videos.
Yeah. See, like if you need, we are running another batch. We are in the mid of that batch. If you need that batch instance videos, yes, I'll be sharing. So Tej, you need that?
Yes, Lakshman.
Yeah.
Please.
Tej, just I need your full name, possible. Tej.
My email ID is oracletej@gmail.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. I will send an email.
Yeah, please. Please, in the class discussions, don't disclose your mail IDs. Yeah, please. Because just I'm recording and all. Just that's what I am asking, the full name. Okay, fine.
Tejeshwar Kumar.
Tejeshwar, yeah, that's what I need.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, fine. Tejeshwar Kumar. Okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll just check it. Oh, yeah, fine. Done. So any questions from anyone, please? If no questions, we can wind up for today. We'll connect tomorrow same time, and we'll continue from here. In tomorrow's session, we'll see how to assign the offerings options, how to set the status, then we'll jump into the core configuration related discussions also. That's how we can move on. Fine. Thank you all. Have a good day and good night.